Hey! Hello Spurs fans, Paul the Hotspur Hippie here. I hope you're doing alright. I think I'm live. I'm not really sure. As you can see, I've been dicking around with things. And hopefully that god-awful audio I had on the stream last night is fixed, because I just sounded like some death metal singer. It was horrible. So for anyone that was in last night's stream, thank you very much for your patience. And why didn't you bloody let me know? Nah, I don't know. I hope you're all well. The sun has risen on another beautiful day in Sydney. And we're going to get straight in and see what Spurs news is. Let's see if anyone's in the comments here. I'm clicking the wrong thing. IT professional, 15 years. Can you believe it? Here we go. Let's just make sure that's working. Yes, that's working. All right, here we go. So let's have a look. Did a quick look at Twitter this morning. By the way, a thought just crossed my head. It's nearly 45 years since Tottenham signed Osvaldo Ardiles and Ricky Villa. 10th of July 1978. How about that? Doesn't time fly when you're an old fart, eh? And I remember when it happened, actually, because my earliest clear football memory is the 78 FA Cup final where Arsenal lost 2-1 to Ipswich. Haha. Always chokers, always pretenders, those Woolwich twats. And then almost straight after that was the Argentina 78 World Cup, which me as a kid is like mind-blowing. It's just football. And the two players that really stuck out in my little 6-year-old mind, Mario Kempes, who was like brilliant, and Osvaldo Ardiles was everywhere, in every game. The commentator, they're the only two names you hear. Osvaldo Ardiles. It was like priming me. It was like drip feeding me, brainwashing me. So then, lo and behold, a few days later, like a couple of weeks later, it hit the headlines in England. Spurs sign, Ozzy and Ricky, and in my mind, that just blew my head off, man. It's like, we signed, we've signed Osvaldo Ardiles. Well, that clearly makes Tottenham Hotspur, my club, the best club in the whole world. That was my reasoning. If we're signing a world champion, that makes us the best. And you know what? I haven't let that feeling float away out of my head. I keep that. That's it. Once you really think that and believe that as a 6-year-old, that's it. You're cooked for life, man. So that was what did me that's why I think Spurs are the greatest team the world has ever seen. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? It's logical. World champion, because at that time, like in the late 70s in England, like people didn't travel overseas or go to far-flung places. Going abroad was a rarity, that was the term. Oh, are you going abroad? Ooh, and you'd be going like to France or Spain or something. So this guy, a world champion, coming from Argentina, it's like crazy days, mate, crazy days. And little did I know then that he would be at the club so long, and I'd get to see him. I'd get to see him play, standing on the shelf. Amazing. A real life world champion, a hero, brilliant. All right, let's see who's here. Well, I might just take it easy a bit here. I might just lie down. I've been mucking around with this background and all that. I think it's all right. It's pretty groovy, actually. It should be affected by my voice. Yes, it is. Good. All right, let's see who's here. Terence Sampson, g'day, man. How you doing? I'm doing fine and dandy, man. I had a really good night's sleep. I had some really wild and crazy dreams that were pretty good. Dreamt I was playing cricket for some reason. Weird. Human brain, bonkers. Blind as a bat. Hope you had a good day, Paul. Just finished work. Nice one, man. Just chilling, listening to you before I go to bed. Well, I'll try and I'll keep the energy nice and soothing maybe for you, unless I get like really pissed off about something. It's just morning here. I've just woken up and just got up. Ozzy was perpetual motion. He bloody well was, man. He just was. He was like a wind-up toy that had a perpetual spring in it. He was incredible, incredible. He's my favourite player. He was my favourite player. I mean, you know, maybe Glenn. I don't know. I'm not going to argue who's better than him or Glenn or whatever. But there was something just about Ozzy. Maybe it was the exoticness or something. But he just played like no one else did in England. So did Glenn, in fairness to him as well. But Ozzy was just something like, you know, off the planet, wasn't it? It was just like he'd samba around. He'd sashay past people. He was an incredible player, and he seemed like a really nice guy as well. You know, pretty humble guy, but funny as hell. Jose Garcia, hola, campeón. Ah, compañero, buenos dias. Mark Cousin, big up boy. Sheriff, how you going, man? I remember that. Couldn't believe it watching Ozzy with ticker tape. Then, yeah, that's right, man, isn't it? I mean, that is one of those. I can still picture that World Cup final, that shot, and I can remember the scoreboard and all that ticker tape and stuff. I remember Ozzy was a little bit quieter in that final. I think he was carrying a bit of an injury, but all the games up to them. It was a festival of football, and you know the great thing of being that age when you're watching something like that. Because now I know when I'm like a cynical old bugger, there was all sorts of politics with the Argentinian junta and all that sort of crap. But as a kid, you don't give a fuck about any of that shit, do you? And I hope that's the same for kids. Like, because there's a lot of kerfuffle over Qatar and the World Cup, and sure, it's all bent the way they're awarding it, but. You know, you gotta fuck all the noise, man, and just enjoy the football. I've said it before. The problem with the World Cup is you do actually have to hold it somewhere in the world. You know, you can't have it on the moon, so you got to have it somewhere on the planet. And no matter where you have it, there's going to be issues in it. So you just fuck all the noise. You just enjoy the football, and you see all these people from all over the world supporting their countries. That's the only point in countries. It's just for football. All the other stuff is all bollocks. It's useful for football, but that's about it. Get rid of them apart from that. And you just see fans from all over the world supporting their teams, the agony and the ecstasy, and you see that we're all the same. It's a beautiful thing. So I didn't know any of that at the time about all the Argentina or the game against Peru where they had to win by 5 goals to get through, and as if by magic they did. Yeah, bollocks. They were just better. Argentina were better. They were a fantastic team, that 78 team. I love watching them. It was really cool. And I think it's funny how, a player like Mario Kempes doesn't seem to be as talked about as much as, Maradona and Messi, who did similar things for Argentina since. But, I just remember Mario Kempes as just doing everything in that team. And Ardiles was the engine room, busy, setting up stuff. He was getting the ball. It was incredible. So it's nice to have the mind of a child, all this growing up and all this maturity. Oh bollocks! Stay like a kid. That's it. In fact, there's a Steve Perryman podcast where he had a guest on Paul Trevelyan. Paul Trevelyan was. Or is rather, he's an artist. You may remember that strip. I think it's called "If You Are the Ref," where they just come up with like really. I mean, someone was having a bit of pot or tripping or something when they come up with some of the scenarios. But it was like what's an example? I don't know. Kenny Dalglish is he's into the penalty box, and then a seagull flies past and hits him on the head, and then as he shoots and it craps on the ball like a really big one, and the ball goes in the net. You're the ref, what do you do? I don't fucking know, but and I think Keith Hackett, who I really liked as a referee, was kind of the adjudicator, but his pictures were fantastic. Anyway, in this podcast with Steve Perryman, you can tell the guy's an absolute nutter. He's great. He says, I just haven't grown up. He hasn't grown up. and I think that's the way to be, man. You know, he's Paul Trevelyan. He was the guy. He was hired by Leeds at one stage to kind of zhuzh up the football and make it I don't know, more entertaining for fans. He came up with the idea of putting their team numbers on their socks. You know, so and that worked. It worked. You know, socks were flying out the window. So genius, absolute genius. And I really like it. I like seeing, like, you know, crazy geniuses like that you know, get on and do well in life. You know, they're kind of outside of the system, outside of Moloch, and they just do their own thing. And we're all the better for people like that. We really are. Oh, we're going off topic here, but I'll have a go. Nate, favourite movie, man? You know, if you'd have asked me that, I've got a few. If you'd asked me like maybe 10 years ago, I would have said the Third Man, Orson Welles, Joseph Cotton, Viali, post-war Vienna, Black Market, Harry Lime, beautiful music, zither music, Anton Karas, directed by Carol Reed. But I don't know, I've seen it so many times. I haven't seen it for a while, but that's definitely up there for me. Probably, you know, the film that I kind of like wallowing in, and it's a weird one because I always see something new in it, and I don't know why, because it's kind of a steady pace film. Is Day of the Jackal with Edward Fox. It's about an assassination plot on President de Gaulle, but it is a brilliant film. Another one, Lawrence of Arabia. I love watching that movie. If you're talking about modern movies, weird one, but I quite like Dread. But a sentimental film, like, you know, all this Marvel superhero shit. There's only one superhero movie, and it was the first film I saw in the cinema, and that's Superman the movie, and it is brilliant. I still watch it today, and it's still absolutely fantastic. So there's a few ideas to wet your whistle. Escape to Victory. Ozzy Ardiles is in it. It's a silly film, but it's fun. Oh, bloody hell. Jeez, I don't know how many of you are in here, but yeah, so Jose. Jose Garcia says fixtures are out tomorrow. A sneak preview leak is we're at home to Newcastle first game. With no sneaky leaks. Who you got in your back pocket? Who have you been giving brown paper bags to? Glad you mentioned that, because I think it's at 9 o'clock UK time. I'm going to be on the Irish Hotspurs channel as the fixture comes out. So we're going to be doing a live thing, and I'm really looking forward to that, because I haven't been on a stream with David for some time, and I kind of miss it, because it'd be like a weekly or twice weekly thing, and I really enjoy chatting to him. I suppose Jack's on it as well, or whoever, but yeah, he's a cool guy. I'm really looking forward to it. Audio Artisan, evening, bruv. Loving the psychedelic visuals. Yeah, I just thought seeing as I'm not boxed in to StreamYard's bloody boring kerfuffle, I just thought I'd have a bit of fun with it. And it took me a little while of faffing around, but I quite like it, actually. It's all right, man. Thank you. Terence Sampson, love your sense of humour. You hate my anger and hatred even more. Terence Sampson, the semi-final was unreal. In the World Cup, yeah, it was, you know, I mean, so, you know, when I started supporting Tottenham, I can't really remember seeing them play much. I just used to see the results. So generally, you know, there wasn't a lot of football on TV, but then Argentina 78, and that was the first Panini sticker album I had. I can still picture the cover, still the font and everything. It was really cool. And it's just like, and the thing is, I was never really a football mad kid. I was a bit of a late developer with football, but even so, no, actually, that's not playing football. I didn't really play football much, but I enjoyed watching it. But 78, man, so many games. Oh, we've got Lord Dub. Hey, man, I don't know why I haven't shown you this earlier, man. You with your fancy disk drive. But look at this. Look at that. I got a little Commodore 64. Look at that. Look at this. This is a beast of a machine. Beast. Oh, the old bread bin design. Really cool thing. This was something I bought on a whim, and judging by the dust on it, I haven't really used it much. Some great games on the Commodore 64 though. Born to Lose, here we go. Hi Paul, I'm old enough to know better. But I got my hopes up after discovering Ange and Madison have the same football agent. Well, I didn't know this. It's alright, a bit of grassy knoll conspiracy time. That's cool. I didn't know that either. You know, I'm just starting to get a little bit. I mean, look, I'm excited for the whole Ange thing. It's the usual Tottenham Hotspur roller coaster. Pumped to bits, very excited when Ange came over. He's my number one man. So glad he's at the club. Best coach in the world. And then as the transfer window started, and then there's rumours and speculation, I'm starting to come down a little bit. But then I did a stream last night where I know it's only rumours and stuff, but there's one rumour that was piquing my interest, and that's Hiroki Ito, who plays for some team in Germany. I've forgotten who it was, but he's a central defender. He's probably going to be cheap as chips. Japanese guy. But the thing that I'm thinking we might get this guy is because Ange would have seen him playing in the J League when he was over there, so that could be that'd be a nice one. But yeah, well, the transfer window is open, so you know, let's get cracking, let's get doing it, Tottenham. Let's just stop fucking about, you know. I've got some Twitter stuff to go through, but I'll just get through some of these comments. I mean, I might as well milk you lot for all I can. And just, you know, when you lot all shut up, then I'll go through the boring stuff until you all wake up again. Or you might be going to bed. That's cool, you know. Aaron Dove says convict's crime is that he stole Trevelyan's corn. Trevelyan. Are you talking about John Barleycorn and all that stuff? No. This is a reference to Charles Edward Trevelyan, senior English civil servant in the administration of Lord Lieutenant of Ireland in Dublin Castle. I don't like the cut of his jib, to be honest. I'm not going to get political, but you know, let's you know, Chociola. Trevelyan, not a good word. Oh, okay, I get you. No, Paul Trevelyan is a fantastic guy. He's a fantastic guy, man. Must have no relation. John, he's just saying hello to each other. That's cool. Oh, bloody hell, Nate. Favourite TV show? That's hard for me to say. I don't watch TV at all. I don't watch anything on TV. I only just dick around on YouTube and read books. I find TV to be kind of exasperating these days. So I'd have to go back a bit. Let me pop that in. Oh, let me see. I mean, nothing's leaping out at me. I don't know, Matt. That's a hard one for me to answer. Nothing new, anyway. Nothing new. Actually, I have got one. Yes, of course. I don't know why it didn't pop into my head earlier. See, my problem with TV these days is I think comedy's shit because it's all like cringe comedy and real shit. It doesn't make me. I like silly humour. You know, just like I don't know, like Laurel and Hardy. You know, that kind of just dumb fun stuff where. I don't like cringe comedy, so that rules out a whole load of things. Like Ricky Gervais, I don't like, and there's a whole load of shit I don't like. And also when it comes to more dramas or serials on TV, I just can't be bothered investing my time in it because, you know, they're all about arcs and things like that. So you've got to watch fucking 60 hours of TV to get to the end of a story. And if it turns out with those Game of Thrones Muppets that were all on about it, getting Game of Thrones tattoos, Game of Thrones this, I watched 20 minutes of the first episode of Game of Thrones. I like, fuck this. And I like Lord of the Rings, so I'm up for some of that fantasy shit. Hawk the Slayer, but I just can't be doing with it. And then, as happens with Game of Thrones, it goes to the last season, last episode, and it's like, sucked in wankers. So I'm not going to do it. The only series I've done that with, Breaking Bad and The Wire. But my favourite TV show, and I still love watching it, I'll still stick an episode on, is Columbo. Columbo is the ants pants. I like TV where, each episode, about an hour and a half tops, beginning, middle, end, you're in, you're out, you're satisfied, you're not cliffhanger, fucking hell, I've got to watch it next week now. So Columbo, definitely. And there's some good, if you're a Columbo fan, there's some good podcasts. The Columbo podcast, that's my favourite. I like watching an episode of Columbo and then going and listening to their podcast. A couple of Scottish guys, and I just Columbo, Peter Falk, the guests they had on it, Jack Cassidy. Oh my God, what a slimy bastard he was. Oh, Robert Culp, evil. He did angry so well. There's a good one with William Shatner in it. Brilliant. Anyway, there you go. Lord Dove, C64, if you need me to show you where the common one is, I'll let you know. I also know how to beat the Hobbit. Bloody hell, man. We're talking old school. Those adventures were shit though, weren't they? Go north, can't go north. Paint door, I don't understand paint. That's what and it was heart pounding excitement at the time. You'd have to wait 5 hours for the next screen to draw. Oh, Stuttgart. So the Japanese defenders playing for Stuttgart at the moment. Great. Oh, we're all chiming in now. Thank you. It's like I don't have to have a fully functioning brain. You can just fill in the bits here. Fill in the bits. I've got a very good mate, and I think between us, we've got possibly one brain between us, and that's fine, And Dave, no worries, man. Yeah, Blind as a Bat. I have no idea what you're referring to. Best TV show, Italian drama, Gamora. Never heard it. Might check it out. Oh, here we go. I heard a rumour Paul loves Home and Away and Neighbours. At its peak, more people watched Neighbours in England than lived in the whole of Australia. Neighbours wasn't really the big. Home and Away was much bigger than Neighbours here, but fuck me, I can't be bothered. Soap operas. I mean, they were kind of the precursor to the kind of TV I was talking about today, where it just never ends. It never ends. I mean, fucking EastEnders, what a depressing life those pricks have, eh? Everyone's bent, murdering, having fuck all that. It's not uplifting, man. On the buses, me and Awake watched a couple of episodes of that not so long ago, and it was actually very funny. So, why not? Anyway, let's have there was a couple of things in news to speculate about. So let me see if I might hyperventilate and I'm lying down. I don't know. So let me have a look here. Bookmarks. What have we got here? Oh yeah, so last word on Spurs. Reporting on, I think they're saying it's coming from Tutto Mercato web. What's that? Lots of World? No, Mercado. Don't know. It's Italian. Last word on Spurs. So Christian Stellini as I haven't really read through these. I sort of just see the headline and I think, oh yeah, I'll bookmark that one and see what he says. So if you haven't heard what he's saying, we're going through this journey together, So Christian Stellini on his last season at Tottenham Hotspur. It was a difficult season. Isn't that what Conte said? It's funny how they're saying it at the same time. They're probably ringing each other up. They say the same old shit, eh? It was a difficult season. I think it was a season I've never experienced because it was crowned with 1,000 problems and dramatic situations. Ventroni's death was devastating for us, and with the World Cup in between, everything was generally difficult. Okay, bereavement is bereavement. It's a tricky one. The World Cup, though, it wasn't like Tottenham Hotspur was the only team that had the World Cup. Every team had the World Cup in there, so you got to deal with that one, mate. Uh, Antonio Conte was also ill, so it's very complicated. It's a year that will help everyone for the future. Maybe he's talking about his own personal growth. Maybe he means when he was sacked, he got a few lira out of it. Who knows? But or maybe he's just talking growing as a person. Maybe. Sure as fuck didn't help Tottenham Hotspur, did it? Way those clowns left our club in disarray. No, in fairness to Stellini though, he's not up there on my hit list. He gave it a go. He gave it a go. Conte was the one for me that, I've got the problem with. Stellini, yeah, good luck to him. Good luck to him. Good luck to him. And like, he's not really saying, he's not, I don't think those quotes are quite as, how should I put it, pissed me off as much as Conte's the other day. So he gave it a go. He's just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. Let's see if we got any. Before I move on to the next one, I might as well just milk this out for all I can get. Lord Dove, I'm impressed by that. Are you a Paddy? Yes, yes. Irish is one of my citizenships. My mum's family comes from County Tyrone. And if I told you their surname, you'd know what side of the fence we're on. But we're all together now, aren't we? We're all together. I'm not going to get political, but I would definitely say that I was Irish. Irish, English and Australian. I know that's... Some people say, well, you can't do that. Yes, I fucking can. I can do whatever I want. I'm a citizen of the world. Nate says, Paul, you and Savas have the best Spurs show. Oh, that's very kind of you, man. I mean, Savas kicking it at the moment. He's I watch Savas as well, and he's like, every time I watch it, he's got thousands of viewers. He's at the boisterous end, He's at the boisterous, have a kerfuffle end, and I'm at the peace, love, and harmony end. But I'm not saying it once, because I do watch Savas, and I go on Savas from time to time as well. He's pretty knowledgeable, and we all want the same thing, don't we? He's a Tottenham man, so can't argue with that. And he's always been, he's always been good to me, and good luck to him. His channel is certainly flying at the moment, Blind as a bat, Scottish boyo, same. Don't know what you're referring to. Mate. But I mean, Celtic would be my second team, so that kind of gives it away. As I watch everyone from England leave the channel in disgust. I'm English too. I'm proud of being English as well. Sort of. Aaron Dove, good Aussie show. I liked Underbelly. I love it. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad show. It's just that I haven't watched it. I'm not a really big fan on things that are based on fact. So at the moment, I can't believe they're doing this, Channel 9. Very soon they're having a drama event series about Shane Warne, and and every time I watch Channel 9 or whatever sport, it's like they're plugging this bloody series so hard. And Shane Warne was such a likeable guy, man. Whenever the Ashes is on over here, I always go to the SCG for the Test match, because I love going in with the Barmy Army, because that's like part of that. It's almost part of that football atmosphere that you don't really get over here. So I love going there and shouting with that lot. And Shane Warne wins them over. I mean, they take the piss out of them, but Shane Warne goes along with it. He was just a really good character, and it's not even a question of it being too soon for me. You see in in these clips, you can see these conversations like between him and, you know, some other guy, you'll never make it or something like that. And it's just, it's bullshit, isn't it? It's bullshit. It's just some writer writing what they reckon happened or writing what they want to tell a narrative story. So I don't really like it, man. Don't really like it. And I think his family's a bit pissed off over it as well. So, crap. But maybe Underbelly's good. But it's a similar, I think they're based on, you know, real stories, real crime families and things in Australia. Doesn't tickle my boat. Columbo, man. Go and get some Columbo into you. Blinders about my cousins in Girvan and Glasgow, Celtic too. Yeah, okay, man. Okay, well, that's obvious, isn't it? Blinders about Celtic Spurs fan, you know. You know, I know. I was gonna get controversial there. Look, I will get a little controversial, but when oh no, I won't. Look, without being too specific, I guess when because I was watching a lot. No, I can couch it in these terms. I was watching a lot of Celtic because my boy Ange Postecoglou was managing them to glory, and you know there was a certain event that perhaps happened earlier on in the year, and I think a lot of the Celtic crowd had a certain opinion, but I thought it was very very funny. Prisoner cell block H, man, blinders about what a load of that was funny. That was funny. That was hilarious. Aaron Dove, Conte and Jose. I'm getting confused, you see, because we've got Jose Garcia, but this is a Jose because he's Portuguese. Were never good fit for us. No, they weren't, man. They weren't. Ange, now there's a man I'd bugger if he got us playing well. Well, you know, if Ange just needed that little bit of extra incentive, I think you've just given it to him. Evening, Paul G. Evening, Paul G. All right, I'll get on to a bit more Spurs stuff here because you know it's the Hotspur hippie, but I like digressing. But I'll spread it out a bit, you know. You know what? I might even next time I might put some nice, subtle, royalty-free background music. I did have a bit of a faff around with AI last night because it's not something I've really done much with, and I've got problems with the ethics of it, but I thought I'd have a look at it, and it's kind of exactly what I thought. You know, I typed in some stuff to get some artwork, and it's just soulless. It's just soulless. I mean, don't get me wrong, the technology's I mean, it's pretty amazing, but I don't like it, and I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't replace truly artistic people in the way in the world. And then I thought, you know, I'd see what music it could produce, and again, okay, it's clever, but it means nothing. So then, what's the point in it? It's not art. Um, you know, when I've got something in my head, I like to do it myself, or try and get a close approximation to it anyway. All right, last word on Spurs is reporting. This is from Felix Johnson. Reports of interest from Tottenham Hotspur in midfielder Conor Gallagher or Gallagher are true. Spurs head coach Ange Postecoglou is a huge fan of the player. How do we know? They just pull shit out their asses. They really do, these journalists. You can say any old crap, can't you? I mean, what is Ange, if this is crap, what is Ange going to go through the bloody trouble of suing him, you know? Ange Postecoglou is a huge fan of the player. Chelsea are very open to sell. Not a player I'm familiar with as usual because he doesn't wear the blue and white of the greatest football team the world has ever seen. Anyone got any thoughts on that? You know, I don't mind signing Chelsea players. I don't have it depends who they are, I guess, but I don't have a big, oh, it's a bloody Chelsea player. I don't really have that. I don't like it we've had a few players go the other way, haven't we? That I really don't begrudge. I mean, Glenn Oldham managed the twats for I don't have it in me to hate them, you know. Yeah, see what the internet nutters are saying about that. Ah, now Aaron Dove. Now you got me peaked. I might sit on the edge. No, I like lying down. I'm a lazy fucker. Altogether now, the farm, great song, stolen from Canon D. Packle Bell. Also, yes, it is. It is because I used to play the trumpet, and Packle Bell, Canon in D was something I learned. I mean, not that I was great at playing the trumpet or anything, but yeah, that was one of those ones I just wanted to learn. And I just like the way you could sort of, do one track. I mean, it's a canon. It's sort of, it's all the same music, but then like each voice would be like half tempo or twice tempo. So it's weird how it all fits together. It's interesting music. Paul G used to live in Perth and got into my AFL. Do you follow a team? Not really. I suppose my team would be that. I'm more and more getting into rugby league. I'm quite enjoying that at the moment. Well, not no, I'm not actually because I support St George Dragons. Mainly, that was the first team I saw play live over here, probably in 1997. And a close friend of mine supports them. Well, a couple of close friends, actually, a few friends of mine support St George Dragons, and they're absolutely dog shit. I've gone from one team that's got shit ownership, rotten from the, fish rots from the head down. I come over here, I could have picked any bloody team. I could have picked Melbourne Storm, I could have picked, Penrith Panthers, a team that wins something, and somehow I get sucked into St George Dragons and they're bloody awful. Wooden spoon contenders this year. Oh, okay, I get where you're coming from. Love a bit, Aaron Lord Dove says, I love a bit of real crime, if not in Ireland. Underbelly I like because I was working around the corner from Carlton, okay, when it all happened, so I was reading about it in the papers every day. Okay, yeah, I get that. Maybe if it's in a different country. Maybe you've got a point there. If it was, if it was a crime, yeah, if it was a crime series about the Krays, I'd probably watch it. I know there has been and I haven't, but I would watch that more than something like Underbelly, you know. No, 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 no. Blind as a bat. No, 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 no. No, no. The Beatles are releasing a new song with AI doing the John Lennon part. No. Uh, no. That's horrible, man. You can't do. Well, they can do what they want. They're the Beatles, I suppose. But no, yeah, I guess I'd say not for me. I saw Paul McCartney a few years ago play live in Sydney, and fuck me, the guy was good. The guy was so. I'm surprised that because I'm not the biggest Paul McCartney fan. I do like the Beatles, but I'm still not. I suppose you can't say the Beatles weren't the great. I mean, they are the greatest group there ever. And sometimes when I'm driving around at work, I will just have on my playlist all the Beatles albums all the way through, and there's no song you want to skip on it, and it's quite uplifting. I did like the album that came out a few years ago, the Love album, but at least that was remastered by George Martin and his son. I can't remember his son's name, but that was I felt that was good and fitting because they didn't fuck around with it too much, and it was all based off the original master tapes, but it was just recorded with new technology and the surround sound because I've got speakers all over the place here. It's just I really like that, but an AI doing John Lennon, man. No, that I'm with you, man. I couldn't. I wouldn't even bother listening to it. I wouldn't even bother listening to it. Oh, fuck AI. Fuck AI. The more I hear about it, because people are saying it's getting better and better, which I can kind of see what they're saying. It is getting better and better. For me, it's becoming worse and worse in a way. Already we live in a world where artists you know, in any field. You know, my particular love is music, but you know, there's painters and sculptors and you know, whatever art floats your boat. I'm cool with it all. And to think that, you know, that creative need is just going to become valueless because, like, if you're at an ad agency and you have to knock up an advert for Coca-Cola, no, I won't use trademark. Yeah, Coca-Cola, fuck it. Are you going to pay? You know, are you going to pay a creative person who's you know, just having a job and they've probably got side interests that tickle their fancy and they're having to do the grind and do all this corporate shit, but maybe they're adding something there, you know, so there's some soul in there. Now you just type into some fucking thing, make me a Coca-Cola advert, and it'll do it. And it'll have no meaning, it'll have no life, but it will be cheap. That's the problem I have with AI. It's cheap. I can't stand it, actually. I hate it. And Dove, yeah, your mum saw him live in the '60s. Jesus, that would have been a good old trip, eh? What we got here? Who'd win in a straight punch up? Donnybrook, Oasis, or Beatles? I'd go Beatles because I reckon John Lennon, peace-loving hippie, but he had a bit of steel behind him. Um, I think because he predates him, doesn't he? So I think John Lennon would smash crap out of all of them put together. Oh, now, Dove, Happy Mondays and Stone Rose, Happy Mondays, man. Happy Mondays. I lived in Sheffield in the early 90s as there was still, as the big Manchester scene going there. And we used to nip off across the Snakes Pass to Manchester, Hacienda, and I had such a great time at university that I went to one lecture out of 2 years. Somehow I could wing it. Because back in those days, yeah, you could be a bit of a bludger and get a student grant. I was in the last age group to be able to do that. Poor kiddies these days have got to pay their own way to have a good time. And yeah, I got myself on the entertainments committee. So I didn't meet the Happy Mondays, but I met the Charlatans and the Lars. There were two bands, but I was just out going to, and I did a bit of DJ. I was just partying every night of the week. But they were really good days, man. Really good fun days. Chris says, in fact, yeah, I still listen to the Happy Mondays, Pills, Thrills, and Belly Aches, and Step On is just that song that gets me. I've got such good memories, fun memories of when that was out that I just love listening to it. Love listening to it. Hey Chris, looking snazzy and far out. Nice one, man. Good to have you here, brother. Let's have a little look, see if there's any more Spurs stuff here, because I've got to make it Tottenham Hotspur relevant, because some square might be coming in and thinking, oh, I thought this, it won't be long before maybe I'll get enough viewers. I'll start seeing a comment, oh, I thought this was a Spurs channel. I thought, well, fuck off, mate. It's my channel. Do whatever the fuck I want. I'm being egged on by the chat. I'm enjoying it. All right, so we've got a report here from. I haven't seen any reports from any opinions here on Conor Gallagher. So that one's kind of gone through the keeper. No one gives a shit. I don't. I'm with you lot. So Spurs OTM has got a quote from Richarlison, and he's saying Real Madrid links. Of course. Every player wants to wear the shirt of Real Madrid. It's the biggest club in the world. I mean, that's a fair enough statement, isn't it, I guess. But I have a club, a contract. I didn't have to say that, man. I have to prove why they bought me for a high price. Okay, if you just take away that contract, well, I have a club. I have to prove why they bought me for a high price. A contract kind of makes you sound a bit like an indentured servant, mate. I was watching like Cowland's stream the other night. He had a journalist from the Sun. One of his regulars, I think the guy's name is Craig, and he had Irish Hotspur on it, and they were going through what they would do with the squad. And the consensus was kind of that they would keep Richarlison for another year. I guess I would too. He was just frustratingly close. At times he kind of looked like a good player, but I just was left with the feeling he bloody wasn't. But we didn't play to his strengths. If we played him up the middle, maybe like I don't know. I don't mind the cut of the guy's jib, you know. I really don't. I know you know, he does a lot of work for his people back where he comes from. Work for charity, and I kind of like that stuff. So he's not a bad lad. The thing I really didn't like, and Andrew's got to stamp this out. No more shirt swapping, lads. As Steve Perryman says, we don't do that at Tottenham, especially when you lose 6-1 to Newcastle. You know, what kind of memento is that? You don't want to remember that. No more shirt swapping. I know it's the way of the world. I've had this, I don't know where I had this discussion the other night. Oh, but that's what people do nowadays. Fuck off, I don't care. I don't care. I know they're all following each other on Instagram and whatever shit they follow each other on, and they're all hugging each other and doing each other selfies. Like I say, peace and love everywhere in the world, man, but not on the football pitch. Not on the football pitch. We don't get all pally-pally. Maybe shake hands sportingly after the game, and, you know, later on, players, you know, have a drink together. That's cool. But kissing and hugging and swapping shirts, fuck all that. I'm not up for it. Okay, so, oh, bloody hell, there's loads of comments up here. Let's just see, I might have to skip a few. It bloody scrolled up just as I was hitting one there. Let's have a look here. Lord Dove, Bonehead versus Ringo Starr, Leah versus John, my money's on Oasis. Yeah, I'll probably go along with that. I don't know if... I reckon Ringo might have a bit of a left hook in him, though, because he was a lefty. And I saw something on YouTube where he said part of his drumming style, which I think is amazing, I love Ringo Starr's drums, is because he was left-handed playing on a right-handed kit, so it took him that extra split second to get over to whatever's over there, and that added that kind of, that groove. Love Ringo on the drums. Blind Assabat. Yeah, I heard this, I don't know where I heard this, man, but Blind Assabat, I said Assabat as well, again. You fooled me with that name. Blind Assabat says, did you see Son? Says he was playing with a hernia most of the season. Probably explains his poor form. He's had an operation for it, hasn't he? So yeah, I mean that would give you something to think about. I mean players, you know, they do a lot of them. You know, they do play through injuries, and you know, I mean, Son with a hernia was better than Dan June, wasn't it? I'm just going to get myself a drink of water, enjoy the background. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a number of factors, isn't there? Why Son was compared to the season before. Hang on, I'm gonna put the heater on as well because it's a bit nippy in here. There's a number of factors why Son was a little bit off it, and you know, if he's playing with that, there's another one. You know, at least that's something you can get over. So I have a feeling we're going to see a super strong Son this year, and I'm looking forward to it because he's a great lad and a very exciting player. Paul G says Oasis wouldn't win the fight because the Gallaghers would beat each other. It's true, isn't it? Bit like the Kinks. Like the Kinks is one of my favourite groups, and Ray and Dave don't get on. Yeah, Hacienda. No wonder it went broke, because no one was buying booze because everyone was off their tits. Yeah, Pills and Thrills, my favourite all time. Yeah, it's a it's a great album, man. It is a great album. Up there on the shelf. Here we go. Here we go. I thought this was a Spurs channel. Yeah, Pills and Thrills, man. Yeah, yeah. Brilliant album. Brilliant album. What was I've forgotten the previous album, but it's nowhere as good because I think who was involved. There was someone involved with the production that made Pills and Thrills not dancing. Was it Paul Oakenfold or someone like that? Sean Ryder and Bez, man. Sean Ryder and Bez. Oh, greater than Sun and Kane. Yes. I'd say Sean Ryder and Bez better than Sun and Kane, but not as good as Glenn and Ozzy. I'll give you that. For what hits me in the heart, man. But they're all great, aren't they? We don't have to pick favourites. Let's see what else is on the Twitter here. I'm it's almost like when I'm talking about Tottenham, you buggers don't want to know, which I'm trying to make it Tottenham, and you're just all talking about music, which I like as well, so that's cool. At least Lord Dove here, at least tried to bring it back into football, which is appreciated. Thanks, mate. So, oh God, you fucking hate Twitter. I hate Twitter. When's Elon Musk gonna just completely fuck this platform up and it closes down? Just get rid of the damn thing. Here we go. So this is from Spurs official. Ivan Perisic. I should be able to say that properly because I know a couple of people from that part of the world. And Ivan Perisic starts for Croatia in tonight's Nation League semi-final against the Netherlands. Good luck, Ivan. And that's where I saw Perisic play, and that's why I was really excited when Tottenham signed him, because I thought that's a good player. That is a class player. But didn't quite work out. I mean, yeah, I said this last night. We were playing him as a wing back, whatever the fuck that is. And he, like in Croatia, he's one of the three up there, isn't he? All right. Here's one from Fabrizio Romano. Manchester United, and I'll see last word, and Spurs have done this as well. Manchester United are currently looking at other options for a new striker, as Harry Kane deal is not advancing at all. Man United feel Tottenham never wanted to sell Kane to them and have no plans to enter a 2-month saga. Wanger. All right, that's one threat to Kane being stolen off the map. Brilliant. I mean, I didn't think there's no. Like, I think we might have sold him for 200 million or some stupid fee like that to Man United, but I don't think even 100 million we would have sold him to Man United. No way, no way. And I haven't seen any reports and rumours and shit like that, because players get onto their agents and say, "Oh, can you just say this to the paper?" I don't see any stories or anything of Kane being unsettled or anything like that. And I just want it to stay. We can't get rid of him. Man United, do one, mate. Do one. Brilliant. Oh, now, there is an interesting story coming up, and let's just have a look, see what you Muppets are saying. Okay. Brunsus, there is shirt swapping everywhere, but I'm with you. On the pitch, you should be enemies. I mean, I see. I don't want competitive sport to become super friendly and super safe, if you know what I mean, because I think it does more good for the world if it's a bit angry, if it's a bit, not angry is the wrong word, controlled aggression, because then that allows a bit of catharsis from the fans. When, if everyone's shaking it, each other's kissing during the game. It won't be long before, I bet you in 10, 20 years, you'll see, like, you know, at White Hart Lane, you'll see a Newcastle United player score, and the Spurs players will be shaking it. You know, this is, you know, be clapping him on the back and all that. You know, oh, what good? Yeah. You know, I think there's a place for a bit of, you know, a bit of feistiness. I don't think it serves its purpose when it's super friendly, and I don't see how you can give 100% out on the pitch when you're reserving a bit because you're playing against mates of yours. I don't like it. I really don't like it. Ange won't be having it. Ange won't be having it because Tottenham Hotspur, remember, we never stop. I'm saying like Roy Keane. Look, I think he talks sense about this though. I do like what Roy Keane says. Chris says here. I think he's right. You know, and I get it, times have changed, but it's not like Roy Keane was playing fucking, you know, 50 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. It's all this, isn't it? All this shit. It's bugging up everything. Yeah, Roy Keane, 100% with him. Oh, okay. Next comment. Aaron Dove. If anyone needs evidence, social media kills footballs, just watch Dele Alli's career. Well, yeah, like I talked about Dele Alli a bit last night, man. And like personally, I've got no kind of animosity or problem with Dele Alli. Apart from maybe he nicked a few wages, but then, you know, there's, you know, you need two hands to shake, don't you? So Tottenham was also willing to pay the money. But when I hear people say, oh, he's throwing it all away, he's you know he's got one last chance to get his career back. Maybe he's just doing what he wants to do, you know, and you know he was a great football talent, and like seeing him in a Spurs shirt, peak Dele Alli was phenomenal, man. He was a really good player. But if that's not what he wants to do, that's not what he wants to do, isn't it? You know, I don't have a problem with. Where I do have a problem, actually, I do have a problem with Dele Alli, and it wasn't when he was with us. Was when he signed for Everton, you know, and he turns up in a Rolls Royce wearing fancy clothes, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, man, you know, it's a working class club, working class area. You know, your wages are coming from those fans that are paying you. You've got to be humble in football. You've got to be humble, and maybe that's part of it. When you're not humble, with rare exceptions, football will just bite you on the arse. But I didn't like that at all. Didn't like that. I know it is Everton. I hate Everton because I hate everyone and every club that isn't Tottenham. I mean, it's a useful hate. It's a harmless hate, if you know what I mean. But you don't go and do that, man. That was crass and tasteless. You know, you've got to get your hand off it and rein it in. Brun South says Mourinho warned Dele Alli should have listened. Well, he should have listened if he wanted to keep playing football, really. But it looks like he doesn't. Although I, for one, wish him all the best, because if he plays another 7 times for Everton, Tottenham get 10 million quid. So good luck, Dele. Get in there, play 7 games. Can you? I mean, surely you can pull the wool over Sean Dyche's eyes for 7 bloody games, can't you? You know, just say the right things. Bullshit a bit. Just please, Dele, just train for 7 weeks, for fuck's sake. Come on, man. Aaron Duff, best rock band drummer in the world. John Bonham. But those 1920s, it's jazz drummers in the Cotton Club sounded down. Well, well. Like I would say, like one of my favourite jazz, well, not just jazz, one of my favourite drummers would be Gene Krupa, man. Gene Krupa, fucking awesome. Still one of my favourite bits of music is Benny Goodman live at the Carnegie Hall playing Sing, Sing, Sing with a Swing. It's glorious. It's glorious. The recording that survives is ultimately a bit shit and crackly and popply, but the music comes through. And the funny thing, well, I'll digress here. So that was one of my granddad's favourites. Then my dad, when he was a teenager, got into jazz, and got that on a single. And when I was like a kid, you know, I was a bit of a sneaky, whenever they were out or whatever, because back in the day, kids could be left at their own, as soon as they could walk, basically. Um, and I didn't burn the house down, tried, but I used to play some of his music, and the Benny Goodman Sing 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 with a Swing. I love it. I still love it today. I'll absolutely. In fact, I played it so much that one of my kids, she's into all that shit, and she teaches swing dancing. So that's one bit of music, and that's gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 generations. It's amazing. Bit nippy. I can't sleep due to 30 degrees in London. Paul G. Huh. Wow. I mean, that is. That's a hot day in Sydney. I mean, we do get up to 40 or 45 on the odd occasion, but 30 is still bloody hot, man. And the thing with being in London is it's just okay. Right, we can relate to each other. So I say it's a bit nippy here. I can give you the outside temperature. It's colder than I expected, but it is very early in the morning. It's 10 degrees. But Sydney homes and places where people live, they're just not built for cold temperatures, anything colder than say 20. So if it's like 18 or 17 outside, even though that might sound hot for a winter's day, when you're inside it does feel bloody cold. Just the same as I'm sure you're experiencing in London, houses over there, are not built for really hot days. So the odd day that you get them is really, really uncomfortable. Whereas here, you've got air conditioners and shit like that. Aaron Dove, I love it when Aussies complain about the cold. It's like an Irish person complaining about the heat. Yeah. I was in Dublin years ago, and I went to Trinity College and saw the Book of Kells, and there was a sign in the car park. I used to have a photo of it. I don't know what I've done with it. And the sign said, students are not allowed to sunbathe in the car park. And I'm thinking that is one of the most optimistic signs I've ever seen. Oh, we've got Duke Wellesby. Duke Wellesby is with us. Hello, your Duke ship. I think it was Graham Roberts who said Perryman would have grabbed players by the scruff of their neck if he's. Oh fucking hell, man! If he saw Spurs players chatting and shaking hands with Arsenal players before they. Could you imagine? Oh my God! Could you imagine that? Anyone in that team doing something as heinous as that? There's not a fucking chance, man. Not a chance. Oh God, you got me hyperventilating. Oh, I'm doing a Davison Sanchez. And you could see that on the pitch, couldn't you? And it wasn't just. I'm not just talking about, dirty play while the referee's back was turned, although I still like a bit of that. But it was just the intensity of the game, the tempo of the game was much, much greater, much more edge of your seat, much more drawing a sharp intake of breath than it is now. There's loads of comments here. It's blind as a bat, cold in Australia, roasting hot in Scotland. Sign of the apocalypse. There's many signs of the apocalypse. Many signs of the apocalypse. Just having fun, distracting you, Paul. Distract me all you want, man. I'm enjoying it. Croatia have got to the final, says Paul G. What a side! Yeah, they are a good side, man. They are a great side. I'll have to get on the blower to a friend of mine who's kind of a Croatian Bosnian or Bosnian Croatian. He's living in Spain at the moment. He'd be all over it. Dobar dan, super dobro, super dobro. Bruno Sales, Perisic was signed about 8 years too late. He was a player back in the day, I think he was a player much more recently than that. Because I really saw him in the. I mean, he's probably a much better player back then. He would have been, of course. But in the Euros and the World Cups, I saw him. I thought he was dynamite, man, dynamite. Didn't he score in the World Cup final? World. Just gonna check this World Cup final. I have to do maths. 2018. He sure did. He scored in a World Cup final, man. You know, you're going to have pedigree to do something like that. Well, at least I don't have to watch this game now because you've spoiled it all for me. But no, that's all right. I wasn't going to watch it anyway. But I'll definitely watch the highlights. That would have been. That's two interesting sides, eh? Two interesting sides. Chris says Man United didn't want to repeat with the Berbatov signing. They had a bad time with Daniel. Oh, I get what you say. So I would have made it difficult, wouldn't they? Berbatov, what a player, man. What a player. He was great. Great. Duke Wellesby says, I worked in the NHS with a hernia and that is difficult enough. So full master Sonny for getting out there, bad medical, bad management. Yeah, you know, like I always say, maybe we're seeing another sterling performance by the Tottenham Hotspur medical department. Sonny's got a hernia, give him the fucking hammer. That's the Tottenham medical department for you. They probably misdiagnosed it, didn't they? They probably thought he had a swollen ankle. Hey, Moondog, nice to see you, man. Welcome, welcome. Blind as a Bat says, I'd really like Amrabat. There's a lot of rumours, but who knows? Yeah, he was a great player for Morocco. My gut feeling about that guy though is like great player, but he's not quite what's the word I'm looking for? Spursy enough. He's not quite Spursy enough for me. Remember, whenever I say the word Spursy, I don't mean what all these bloody clowns call Spursy. Spursy to me is Steve Perryman doing a number on Jerry Gow in the FA Cup final replay, sending the message, you leave my boys alone, you grey afro-haired twat. That's Spursy to me. Oh, here we go, we're getting all bloody... Yeah, I've something. The only German I know is Ich lich du nicht, du liest mich nicht. Aha. Yeah, when sport is sanitised, it loses its appeal. And I've talked about this before, but you know, it's and exactly the same thing is happening in sport in Australia, like the rugby league. You know, I mean, talk about a physical bloody game, which it still is, by the way, it still is. But they flower it up a bit. And it's under the guise of, I hear it so often, well, kids are watching this. And when I was a kid, I loved watching that shit, man. I love watching that shit. And what I really think it is, I don't think it's anything, they're not thinking of children at all. They're not thinking of children one bit. They're just thinking of their market, you know, because, and I'll put this, you know, football is the world game. And I think if you would have left it alone, and not sanitised it, it would have spread anyway. But because we've got lots of dollars involved, they want to increase their market share. And let's face it, a lot of posh people don't like a bit of not violence. I'm not talking about football hooliganism or anything like that. I'm just talking about aggression and passion on the pitch. And you know, people turn their noses up at that sort of thing. This whole bullshit about it's for the kids, oh, kids are going to grow up, it sets a bad example, role models, I think is 100% utter donkey shit. All they're interested in is increasing the market to people with money that aren't that, I think it's horrible. Because at the end of the day, if they wanted to make sport, football, family friendly, why is there so many gambling adverts? I do crap on about this, but it's something I feel very, very strongly about. You know, we've got a whole generation growing up that gambling is just second nature to them, and I think it's fucking horrible. I really do. I'm not bagging anyone who wants to flutter. It's not my cup of tea, but you know, it's just the way everyone does it now. Everyone does it, and it causes a lot of difficulties. I think it's a complete waste of money. You know, if I've got a bit of money floating extra, which I never have because I'm skint, you know, there's better things I can do with it than give it to a betting agency. And there was you know, I do repeat myself, but you know, you get different viewers, so you know, my apologies. But there was a Senate inquiry over here into online gambling, and it is actually a fact that if you start winning too much with these sports betting apps, they close your account. They close your account, so you can never ever actually win out of them. Hey, top Spurs man. Hope you're well, sir. Yeah, I'm well. I'm tickety-boo today. Tickety-boo. Yeah, I'm with you though. And Roy Keane. Yeah, I thought you might be. I thought you might be, man. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Aaron Dove. Oh, Roy talks straight, learned under Clough. Yeah, I mean, fucking hell, man. I mean, talk about getting schooled by two of the best managers ever, Clough and Fergie. It's pretty hard to argue with Roy Keane, isn't it? It really is. And you also have a problem with follow Dele Alli Instas and Twitter crap. I don't get it. I don't look. It's a different generation, and I don't really get and understand any of that stuff, really. Brun Seuss, he's already said he wants him to play for him. So I think you're good for the 10 million. Who are we talking about there, Brun? Because, you know, I'm a little bit behind with comments and stuff. Are we talking about Hiroki Ito? I hope you are, because I'm well up for that, man. Well up for that. Your old dear saw the Benny Goodman Quartet live in London too in the 60s. The live long version of Take 5. No, man. In fact, right. There was this kind of short-lived format called SACD, Super Audio CD, and it's like a really high. It is a digital format, but because of the way it is, it's as close to that analog kind of feel that you can get. And I've got Time Out by the Dave Brubeck Quartet on SACD, and it is just amazing. Amazing. That's called Take 5 because it's got a 5/4 time signature. Duke Wellesby, Cotton Club was a good film, early 80s. Yeah, man. I would have seen that, but I can't remember it. I might have to check that one out again because that would have a brilliant soundtrack in it, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. I'll have to. Thank you very much, Duke Wellesby. Sorry. Oh, fair play. Croatia got to the final. Here we go, man. Here we go. Real cups: FA, European, UEFA, League. Fake cups: Nations League, Club Cup, Community Shield, Audi Cup. Well, you know, I'd go even further, man, right? So, your real cup list there, I'd add the Cup Winners' Cup. Yep, and the league title. I think we're on the same gist there anyway. Fake cups, Champions League, man. That's not the best in Europe. It's the best with a load of shit thrown in. The Community Shield, I'm with you there because it should be called the Charity Shield. Charity Shield is a real cup. Community Shield is, don't know what the Audi Cup is, just rubbish, eh? Nations League, that's just, is that FIFA or UEFA? Bit of, you know, bish bash bosh business, creaming money out of the fucking game. Yeah, but it is what it is. It's still, you know, it's still better than not having any football at all. That's what I come down to, you know. You know, at the end of the day, when the whistle goes, it's football. Now no, what I'll do is I'll catch up with some comments here because I've got something else to talk about here. Paul G, Nations League. Aaron, they beat Holland. Phil Coys, you're good. Superb, man, superb. Fair enough, man. That is a valid point, Dove. You know, okay, take your point. No worries, Aaron Dove. No problem. No problem at all. But you did have a disk drive, mate, didn't you? I mean, come on. You did have a Commodore 64 disk drive. But consider it done, man. Consider it done. All right, now let's have a look in. Now, I sort of, you know, glanced through this a little bit, but I thought I'd go through it in full because I haven't done that yet. Because I saw that there was an interesting story here, and it is Spurs official, and this is Spurs referring a bit to our history. And for the life of me, I don't think I can remember this clock. It doesn't stick out in my mind, you know. It doesn't stick out in my mind, but it obviously sticks out in, I think, everyone else's mind. So this is a cool thing, right? From Spurs official. Oh, I've got to just slow down a little bit, hyperventilating. The iconic Tottenham Hotspur clock, adorned with the world-famous golden cockerel motif, has now been reinstated on the High Road, where it was a feature between 1934 and 2007. Legend has it, I like that Spurs are actually writing this stuff. They do it so rarely, and they've got some nice photos as well. So well done, Tottenham Hotspur social media person. You've done something right here. Legend has it that it was under this lamppost on Tottenham High Road that the very first meeting of the club took place, and the Hotspur FC was founded by 11 schoolboys, including Bobby Buckle. The gas lantern, which the group stood under in 1882, has been restored as what is believed to be its original location. So if it's on the High Road, I would have walked past this bloody thing. It didn't stick in my mind. I don't know. Memories are, you know, memories gone, man. There is a strong link between the clock and Bobby. The clock used to hang on the Red House, the owner of which around the time the club was formed by Bobby's father and employer, Joshua Pedley. Joshua Pedley paid for the original Tottenham and Edmund dispensary, now beautifully preserved within the Tottenham experience. The Tottenham Hotspur clock had previously hung on the facade of the Red House, the first administrative headquarters of the club between 1886 and 1891, and then again in the 20th century. During the First World War, the offices were used as part of the war effort and used as a factory, while the Red House became a site for the production of gas masks. After the Second World War, with the addition of the clock to assist visitors unfamiliar to the area, the club offices and ground, the Red House was then the site of our Office of Managers. I didn't know any of this, bloody hell, man, including Bill Nicholson for many years. Wow, how cool, that's amazing. And then that's the end of Tottenham Hotspur's bit, and then the first replies, there's also a strong link between Levy and a lack of trophies, and between Tottenham Hotspur and my depression. That was Male Hates Enoch. So that's an interesting story, and you know, even though that's not a memory I have, it's really cool that they're doing that. It's a start, isn't it? It's a start. It's a start to having a bit of history. But I'm gobsmacked that I don't remember it. I really don't. But I'm sure, you know, some of you out there will have memories of this clock. I still want them to build a statue of Bill Nick. Gary Wellsby. I think we also won the Peace Cup. The bloody pre-season tournament I remember is the Makita tournament, and I think it was us, Twats FC from round the corner, and it might have been Inter Milan and AC Milan, and I think it was in the season we just signed Paul Gascoigne and Gary Lineker. I think it was the first time one of those two played in a Spurs shirt. That we were fucking awful. Fucking awful. I remember Arsenal beat us 5. It was all friendly shit. But I remember Arsenal beat us something like 4-1. It was at Wembley. And I remember all the Arsenal fans chanting, "What a waste of money. Bastards." 8,1, man. Yeah, you're talking genius level stuff, man. You know, this is all I had. It's all I need. Well, and a tape recorder. Bastards at Commodore made you buy their tape recorder though. Like, you know, all those losers with Spectrums could use any old tape recorder with ears, but now we're to use the fucking Commodore one. Alright, Tottenham beat a team 13-2 in the FA Cup in 1960. The team also left on platform 13 and returned on platform 2. Who did they play? 13-2. It's not someone like Crew Alexandria, but you're leaving me a nugget there. Left on platform 13 and returned on platform 2. So I'm guessing unless you're a complete bastard, that's a clue. Oh no! It's because it's the same score. Fuck me, I'm slow. I should know something like that because that would be like up there. Oh no, yeah, you know that would be up there with like our record scores, wouldn't it? I'm thinking of the vibe of a Crew Alexandria, a Halifax, a Stoke, something like that. Something like that, maybe. I mean, those platforms to me would indicate that it is a team outside of London. So they would be that. Like, I know I don't get full points for this, but maybe like a third of a point if I get. Okay, Crew, Halifax or Stoke. That's my final offer, Eddie. I can't lock any one of them in, unfortunately. Do I have a day job? Yes, I do. Uh, sort of, not really, a bit. Oh, it's Crew. I did say Crew, didn't I? Fucking back of the net. Fucking back of the net. Pick that out, you fucker. Yes, man. Yes, man. Was that the first team? I think the first one. I should have. That was the first one I said as well. I should have trusted my gut more and stuck with Crew instead of floating another couple in. Bollocks. I lost 2/3 of a point, but it's something. I'll take it. Fucking yes. I don't know, man. My brain's a funny thing. Like things like that will stick in my head, but I can't remember where my bloody car keys are. You know. It got it. Even my uncle didn't get that right, and he's Spurs since 1948. But I didn't look. I didn't get it 100% right. I did have a little bit of no. Look, no. It's probably just one of those things I've seen as a record or something. You know. I didn't know about the platforms though. That's kind of an interesting. That's a nice. Is that platform thing? Is that correct? Is it? Is that that's a fact? Is it? Because that is. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Is it? I mean, football. Cheers, everyone. Bloody football. Bloody love it. Let's just see if I've got any other shit in my Twitter feed that I've bookmarked. Now I'm going to go right back out up the top. Sort it out, Elon. Sort it out. We all know you're a fraud, mate, but you're not making life easy. Okay, another. So here is a couple. So we've just. This is from Spurs official. We've signed Jaden Williams on his first professional contract. I'm not familiar with him. Any thoughts on him? I mean, you know, I don't mind signing a youth player. That's nice. And Max Robson has also signed a new contract with the club. Again, I'm not familiar with this guy. My knowledge of the youth teams is very scanty. Like I've said before, Dorrington for me is up there. Get him in the team, get him in the squad, and Mickey Moore in a couple of years. I hope we don't fuck him up. I hope we don't fuck that one up. I hope he stays around till he's ready for the first team, because he really did look the businessman. Yeah, that's what I think. That's the end of the Twitter feed. Gary Wellesby says, I also remember when there's all fields around Tottenham. No way, man. Was it really? Because I mean, when I used to go, it was just and again, I might have fake memory here, but it was all pretty built up, to the extent that my memory of walking up the high road is you couldn't really see the ground until you're almost on top of the bloody thing. And it was a proper working class ground, wasn't it? It was, you know, all brick. You go around. It was fantastic. Like a lot of grounds around the country. The Premier League has lost some of that. I mean, the good thing about football being so big and popular in England is that you've still got all these crazy grounds when you go down the divisions. So, you know, it's part of all the richness. We have got a crazy ground coming into the Premier League now, Luton Town. Anyone that's going to away matches, go to Luton Town, because it's a mind trip going to the Luton Town away end. Vicarage Roads, I think someone reminded me of what it's called. Yeah, so it's a fact about the train platforms, man. Brilliant, man. Brilliant. I love it, man. Thanks, Aaron. Gary Wellesby, are you going to drop a word in, get me a knighthood? You know what? I'd love it. I'd love it if you put a word in for me to get me a knighthood, because I would say stick it up your arse. That's what I'd say. Stick it up your arse. I'm not interested. Not interested. Nate, Spurs walk out to some. Oh fuck me, Nate. Look. You're getting my blood pressure going here, because when I was going to Tottenham, there's only one way Spurs should march out onto the pitch, and okay, we've gone past the days of Willie Morgan doing the announcement, but who's the guy? Is it Coit? I'm not too familiar with the guy because I don't see him much. Seems to be doing a great job though. Welcome to White Hart Lane, the world famous home of the Spurs. Dun, 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 dun. And I cannot for the life of me believe, like, when I first heard what you're talking about, man, the first thing I thought was, the fuck's that? It's the Phantom Menace. What are they doing? And they picked the shit. I mean, I know it sounds epic, and look, don't get me wrong, John Williams always is a fantastic composer. You think of every theme he does for every film he's done has been perfect, so perfect. You can't imagine seeing that film without the music. As I said, like probably 5 hours ago, the first film I saw in the cinema was Superman. You can't get more of a Superman-y theme than that. And that piece of music in The Phantom Menace was great. I thought, he's still got it. It was great. But playing it to Spurs marching out? No. I know you're trying to make it all an epic experience with Europe's longest bar and your fucking cheese factory and your micro brewery and all this absolute bollocks and make it like an operatic experience. If you want to make it an operatic experience, play some fucking opera. Play some proper opera. There's loads of great opera. Puccini, Verdi. Even Beethoven wrote some bloody good operas. But that Phantom Menace? Because I'm watching now. I know it's the part of the film where, what's his name, Ewan McGregor and Darth Maul, throwaway villain, had a bit of a all that stuff. But I'm just thinking Jar Jar Binks. I'm just thinking of my absolute bloody disappointment. You know, and I was an adult. I was a grown man. It's not like, and you know, I wasn't really a huge Star Wars kid. I didn't see any of the Star Wars films in the cinema. You know, I waited till actually, funny. There was a mate of mine at school, and his parents were Spanish, and he had like an 8mm projector. I haven't thought of this for years. He had an 8mm projector, and we watched. I don't know how he got, but he had Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back on proper film, but it was in Spanish with no subtitles. So I mean, I kind of got it, and the thing was, there was so much Star Wars shit around in the social cosmos that even though I didn't actually see it for years, I knew all the bloody story. I knew all the story, so when I saw it, there was no surprise. I knew it. I might have had a Star Wars annual anyway. But anyway, I did like it. I had a little R2-D2, you know. So I wasn't one of those people that, like, you know, their childhood was ruined and George Lucas, how could you do this and all this sort of shit. But I did think it was bloody awful. And I was disappointed because I thought it would be good. And I came out scratching my head thinking, that's a bit shit, wasn't it? And then Tottenham Hotspur play that fucking music. They're just fucking clueless sometimes, aren't they? They really are. Nice. And I know maybe they think, because they're a bit ashamed of their past, maybe they think Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur is a bit dated, maybe it's a bit cheesy, but I'll tell you what it is, it's a bit fucking Tottenham Hotspur. It's a bit fucking football, that's what it is. And be proud of that shit. Fuck me. Got me angry there, Nate. Because the number of times they played, as soon as the piano goes, Willie Moore, it's like, because I'd already be standing there for probably an hour on the shelf, probably in the pissing rain just to get a decent spot, and the anticipation, the build up, and when that happens, it's just, fucking oh, piss off. Piss off, Enoch, you fucking idiots. You fucking idiots. Phantom Menace. Bullshit. Phantom twats. That's what it is. Anyway. Aaron says, that memory defect too. Yeah, funny, eh? But mine's about international mafias. That's why I love Prohibition, Jazz and the Cotton Club. Lucky Luciano, Mr. Lansky, though. I used to know a relative of Meyer Lansky. Strasbourg Steve has it about football. His age, Strasbourg Steve he's a fucking crazy guy, isn't he? He fucking knows everything about football, that guy. But you have got me a thought. I did really enjoy The Sopranos. I thought that was a fantastic series. I did like that one because each episode was entered. You know, it's got to be bloody brilliant every episode for me to endure 60 hours of TV. And I really enjoyed The Sopranos, and I thought the ending was fantastic. Fantastic. Loved it. Yeah, I like God. Yeah, I do actually. Now you mention it, man. I think, you know, maybe I might have to rethink what I'm talking about. You know what it is? Maybe it's when it's a docudrama about stuff I'm a little bit familiar with. Like, I haven't seen Baz Luhrmann's Elvis film because I do like Elvis, and I know a bit about him, and I've been to Graceland, and I've got a not Meyer Lansky, but I've got a Lansky Brothers taking care of business in a Flash t-shirt. You know, that was Elvis's tailors. You know, so I've got absolutely zero interest in seeing anything about Elvis unless it's him singing. You know, But as far as like, dodgy stuff like that, like good, all the Martin Scorsese stuff is brilliant, isn't it? Like Goodfellas, Casino. I think is a brilliant movie. Godfather 2. I like the bits that have got Al Pacino in, but all the prequel stuff with Robert De Niro, don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck about all that. Uh, if I had time, I'd actually do my own edit of it, and I'd just cut all those bits out. So it's just the Al Pacino bit going to Cuba. Chris says Arsenal, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, Spurs, McKee. Oh, okay, all right, man. Okay, so that's right. So it was Bayern Munich. Okay, Spurs, and they beat us 4-0, not 4-1. Twats round the corner. Fucking it, it's horrible. It's horrible. I remember it was pretty hot, and it was 2 days. It was over 2 days of football, and it was bollocks. You could smell the old lane before it, says Aaron. Yeah, man, that's true. If you're downwind, but then you start. If I was ever like getting because I used to usually get there early, but if I used to fuck it up and get there like 15 minutes beforehand, you'd hear the crowd start. The crowds used to start before kickoff. It was great. Oh, you are related to media royalty, a bit like Prince. Oh, yeah, okay. Looks droids. Did I say Vicarage Road again? Fucking hell, it's Kenilworth Road. Thanks, Chris. Kenilworth Road. Yeah. Dude, what a weird old ground that is. I think they're going to redevelop or build a new stadium somewhere, which is a shame, isn't it? I mean, Luton's not my favourite place in England by any means, but that ground is just one of those weird, quirky places. We're getting all these cookie cutter stadiums around the world now, aren't we? Don't like it. Hey, but you can't stop progress, can you, Paddy? Oh no, fuck, man. My mum was an absolute bugger for Val Doonican. Oh God, we used to have to watch the Val Doonican show. I mean, in fairness though, I don't know why I'm doing that because I did quite enjoy it. So, on his little rocking chair with the big cardigan. Paul and Midnight or new entrance tune coming soon. No. It's got to be the Chaz and Dave, Glory Tottenham Hotspur, and I think Willie Morgan also arranged it. I know that because I wanted it to use it for my intro, so I thought I'll ask the question: can I use it? Is there a nothing fee? Will they just give me some credit because I'm an old Spurs fan? And I got as far as seeing that there's about 7 people that own the rights, and I just thought, bollocks to it. I would not be in a position to be able to help you out with your request, I'm afraid, Aaron. But international mafia, so it is organised crime everywhere, organised crime everywhere. And I know in Australia, I don't know. There was an area in Sydney called King's Cross, the adults' playground, where whatever you wanted. It wasn't. I only went there a few times, but it was. For me, it was nice to know it was there, and it had the reputation of. You could walk into trouble a bit there, but I never really got that vibe. The vibe I got there, as long as you're cool, you weren't out of line, you could have a great time, man. If you're a bit of a knob, you might have a bit of trouble. You would have a bit of trouble there for sure. But what happened? It kind of went past that boundary. There was this fad in Sydney where people would just king hit strangers, and unfortunately, it caused a couple of deaths because people would go down, smack their head, and die, unfortunately. But unfortunately, the government overreacted to it because it happened about maybe 3 times, which I'm saying it's horrible, right? But then they brought in these lockdown laws. The cross is no longer there. You know, I'll give you a bit of grassy knoll here. I don't think it's any coincidence that when the lockdown closed all the nightclubs in King's Cross, just so happens a lot of the ruling classes, including some politicians, bought the property, and now they're like apartments and offices. Who'd have thought, eh? And now the lockdown laws have been repealed. So, but it's too late for the Cross to come back, unfortunately. Casino's a great movie. It's 88% factual, says Aaron. 132% not accurate. And name changes. They called De Niro character Rothstein. Yeah, he was someone else, wasn't he? Yeah, I know they've changed that. And maybe you know this. I think maybe yeah, you're helping me clarify my you know what I'm trying to get across is. It's like if I know something, then I don't want to see a dramatisation. But things like Casino, I would have seen Casino, and then I would have done a bit of looking up afterwards. So you know, I know things have changed, but you know, I'm not. You'd be an expert on that kind of shit. I'm not. So I can get entertainment out of it, but you still like the movie. See, Luton's a town is like the town I grew up in Ireland, Bray. Yeah, I wouldn't have used that word myself. Maybe I was thinking it, but I know people live in Luton. The Herd, Aussie band. I don't know them. My man Chamu, I don't know them. The Herd. What sort of era is that? If we're going to choose any old tune, says Aaron, I know Phantom of the Opera by Maiden or Thunderstruck by. Yes, Thunderstruck by AC/DC would be awesome. Okay, if it became illegal to play Glory Glory Tottenham Hotspur, Thunderstruck would be a good one. You got me thinking. I'm trying to think of, you know, King songs. All they support Arsenal anyway. I couldn't have those. What's a good ball busting beery? Thunderstruck is good. The only thing is that, I mean, Thunderstruck has been used a lot in movies and things like that. That's the only thing against that, but that's because it is so good. I'd have to think about that. Oh, you know, I know a little bit about the Cross, Roger Rogerson and all that. And that was the thing, like, it was organised crime, but it was like, I know it's a cliche, but they just fucked each other over. And really, the police were so corrupt as well. They were just taking a cut as well. And this is not me just being anti-police or anything like that. There was a Royal Commission into all this shit, where all this was coming out. Chuck Fowler and all these guys, Roger Rogerson, and you know, so you know, generally I don't have a very high opinion of the police, but I don't want to get political. Lazy fat donut eating fuckers. Yeah, Cross was, yeah, it was fun, wasn't it? It was fun. It was fun. Nothing wrong with it at all. And now I'll tell you, and now it is just like, it's becoming like any other suburb. You know, the Potts Point end of it is well and truly gentrified. The King's Cross bit, it's still a little bit, you know, crossy, but it's nowhere near, man. Like the Bourbon and Beefsteak and, you know, places have all gone, you know. Cross in '99, yeah, for sure, man. It all closed down, I'm guessing maybe 6 or 7 years ago, maybe a bit longer. You know, and it's the way Australia goes. This is how Australia does. This is why it's such a nanny state. You know, you have a tragedy happening to a few people, and I'm pretty sure it's illegal to kill anyone anyway. You know, I thought that's the sort of thing you generally do go to jail for. What they do is then they treat everyone. They treat everyone as if they're going to be king hitting people. And now people wondering why the nightlife in Sydney is dead. Well, they killed it, unfortunately. From what I hear these days, Melbourne has got a lot more life in it. Rap tune. If it's Australian rap, that's not quite my scene, man. TNT, Hell's Bells, you know. Just trying to think, is there a Sex Pistols song that would go? But no, Johnny Rotten is an Arsenal fan, so you can't have that either. Heard of a newer band? If it's after 2000, I'm not up for it, man. I'm not up for it. It's been developed and never come back. Not quite. Thoughts on Oasis? All right. Now, I guess, like at the time, so in sort of, you know, in the 90s, I did like them, but I kind of because it was everywhere, man. It was everywhere. I kind of got a bit oversaturated with Oasis. But since I moved to Australia, there's a friend of mine who really likes Oasis. So I've kind of, you know, discovered some of their, you know, not no, I've actually discovered some of their music. The problem with me for Oasis is that early album, What's the Story? I probably would like to listen to that, but it was they fucked the recording up on it. They fucked the mastering up on it because they brick walled it. You know, dynamic compression. They made everything loud at the same volume to make it sound louder on a radio, and that's what they actually did on the master tapes. So there's no going back from this. This is what it is. And when I listen to it, when I listen to music that's been brick walled, so there's no difference between the quiet bits and the loud bits. It's all just pumped up to be the same volume. I can't listen. It makes me feel quite fatigued, and it sounds very, very tinny to me. So I could have the hyperventilating a bit. I could have like you know, it could be my favourite song in the whole world, but if it's produced like that, I can't listen to it. So as for the early albums, I don't like them. But I actually do really enjoy Dig Out Your Soul, that album. I really do like that. That's you know, not that I'm suggesting or condoning anything, but if you're in a slightly altered state of mind, it's a very good album to listen to. You know, and look, I'm not suggesting anything, but if you're seeing shit like that, Dig Out Your Soul is a great album. But no, you know, don't do that, kids. So look, they're good band. Not my favourite, but Dig Out Your Soul is a very good album. Very good album. I'm all in, says Aaron. All 5 original Oasis had Irish parents, 100% Irish band. Yeah, why not, man? Claim them. We're getting on to Singo. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm like, you know, coming out with did we really land on the moon here, but yeah, Singo did own a lot of pubs outside the lockdown area. Yeah, Johnny Rotten, he is Irish, and I do like a bit of the Sex Pistols. I probably like a bit of early Public Image Limited a bit more, but him as a person doesn't quite jive with me sometimes. I like Steve Jones and Paul Cook, but Johnny Rotten, he supports Arsenal, man. Maybe that's it. You know. Maybe I'd love Piers Morgan if he didn't support Arsenal. It's unlikely, but I can't say it's impossible because we don't live in a universe where Piers Morgan supports Tottenham. Right, top band up there with the Mondays and Stone Roses, Joy Division. Phew. Yes, man. Manchester Music. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? It was like a mixture of rock and roll and dance. It was just a really, really good blend. Really good blend. And I kind of like the way that Anthony H. Wilson, he clearly wasn't in it to make much money because he had no idea how to run it, but he made really great music. He's sadly not with us anymore, God rest his soul, you know. So, we've moved right away from Tottenham here, we're on music, aren't we? Bowie, no, look. There's some Bowie I really do like. I really do like the album Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders of Mars. I love that album. Other albums, I'm not apart from that one album. I'm more into a kind of greatest hits of Bowie. So I like Life on Mars, Ashes to Ashes. I think they're really, really top song. I don't think he's pretentious. No, no, no. I don't think. No, no. I'm not on the pretentious wanker side of the fence. I think he's a pretty cool guy. Pretty cool guy. Yeah, Tony Wilson, pioneer man, pioneer. I mean, yeah, great. And I suppose, look, there's that movie 24 Hour Party People, and that's like an exception to my rule because even though I knew a bit about that kind of scene, they made it very, very clear what was speculation in that movie. They kind of broke the fourth wall, and I really like that. And besides, I know Steve Coogan and would it be Henry Normal or Henry Winterbottom that was in that? They would have. That's more of giving you the vibe of the time, I think, and I'm cool with that. And also, there were a lot of appearances by Shaun Ryder in it. Tony Wilson was in it at one point. But I think that film is a really nice tribute to that kind of era. It was really good. Bloody hell, how long we've been going? We're going 2.5 hours. Let me just have a quick look to see if there's any, hot off the press signings. Or anything like that. Let me have a look here. Oh, Twitter. And then I'm going to sign off, I think, and go and get some breakfast and have a shower and shit. Tottenham's still spruiking their bloody kit. Fuck off. Tottenham. Done that. Looks like Expressions Oozing has got something to say. I might have a look at this because he's hearing that Tottenham want to give Eric Dyer a new contract. I think that will be an entertaining watch. That. Oh no! What's that? No, nothing to see there. Oh, okay, here's some of the Spurs OTM saying. Dejan Kulusevski on interacting with Sonny when he first joined Tottenham. He was the perfect teammate outside the pitch and on it. It's been an honour and I hope we can continue to build this relationship more in the future. It's nice, isn't it? Irish Hotspur, what's he saying? Me waiting for Tottenham to be linked with a centre-back considering we conceded 63 goals last year. Yes, man. He's been banging on about the lack of defence for years, man. It's been getting worse and worse. Since, Toby and Yan, it's just been getting worse, hasn't it? It's been deteriorating. We've done absolutely nothing to fix it apart from Romero. Nothing. So if we do nothing we're going to the trajectory is next year is going to be fucking 80 goals. Ange can't, turn shit into Shinola, can he? Just for there's no new news here. Alright, one last look at the peanut gallery. Okie dokie. Righty ho ho. Well, actually, you know what? Oh no, I can go and listen to it myself when I stop streaming. I think I fixed the audio shit. I was horrified when I finished doing a few hours streaming last night, and I went and just listened to see what the sound was all like, and it was bloody dreadful. So apparently Windows, when you unplug a device and back in again, it just defaults the volume back to 100 on the microphone, and that's what was causing a lot of clipping. There was nothing I could do it because when you get into OBS, you've already got your source, haven't you? So it was making a clip source sound quiet. Anyway, enough of that bollocks. I don't have an outro on this, so let me see. We'll just get rid of the chat there. And you know, I mean, thanks again thanks again for everyone joining, because like, if you don't give me comments, it'd be 10 minutes, 10 minutes, be later, you know, which'd be all right. I could do 10 minutes, but that's all I could pretty much do without you helping me along. So thanks for giving me stuff to riff off. And don't forget, right? 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Head over to the Irish Hotspur. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put I'm sure he's scheduled it, because he's much more organised than me. I just get up and think, fuck it, I want to stream. So I don't give anyone any warning. So I'm hoping he would have scheduled it. No, he hasn't. Oh well. I'm pretty sure he said at 9 a.m. UK time. Me and him and whoever else he's got in, we're going to talk about the release of the Premier League fixture list for 2023-24. So I'm excited about that, because at least it's football. It might be slim pickings, but at least it's bloody football, isn't it? And it's fact. It's football fact. There it is. It's etched in stone. Until the Premier League have to say, we advise people we've moved Tottenham's match because of Yom Kippur, which I know back in the day used to do it every bloody year. I hope they don't still have to do that. I hope they've got their act together and realise that you just don't play on that day. Just, you know, sort all that out. I'm actually quite excited about. I mean, obviously we're going to be, you know, talking bollocks, but it's going to be bollocks based on football fact. It's going to be football bollocks with a football fact foundation, and I'm really looking forward to it. So as always, folks,